Greetings, my name is Kevin Andrew, and today I'm playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which, if we're going to be honest, is a pretty decent port of a fantastic arcade game. It's an arcade game that came out in 1989, I believe, and it just revolutionized what we thought about brawlers, in my opinion. I mean, for me, it revolutionized brawlers because it took the cartoon and just converted it into a game. I mean, it really did. The graphics, the sound, I mean, everything about that game in the arcade was just, it was the cartoon. And being a huge fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the time, and I still am, it was mind-blowing. It was just mind-blowingly awesome. I'm going to go and jump in and start playing. So this version of the game has pretty accurate sound and pretty accurate graphics. I mean, you're working with the NES hardware, so obviously limitations. But we're just going to jump in. And so this first part, we're going to pick our turtle. I think the four turtles play pretty much exactly the same in the NES version of the game. I'm always a fan of Leonardo, so I'm going to go with Leonardo. The arcade game had voices, and like this part, they cut the voices out where they say, "Fire, hang on, April." But the music's pretty close, pretty decent. So anyway, so the arcade game was just phenomenal. I mean, you played 4 players, it had the graphics, it had the sound, it had everything. Control was really good. And you'd go down to the arcade with 3 of your friends, and you'd take your bag of tokens. But before you'd get there, you would have the requisite meeting. Who's going to be which turtle? And because you didn't want to get there and fight over a turtle, you had to make, you had to decide who you were going to go with before you got there. And yeah, no fighting over turtles. So anyway, when they announced the NES version of this game, me and my friends kind of went crazy, or at least I did. I don't remember if my friends actually went crazy. It's because I went crazy. I just assumed they did, but I can't say definitively if that was the case. Anyhow, so this game was announced. It went on at the top of my wish list, and I asked for it for my birthday. And my birthday rolled around, and my friends said, "If you get it, we're gonna come over and we're gonna play it." And I said, "Yes, that sounds amazing." So, sure enough, on my birthday, I got it. One thing I will say, that one difference on the sidebar, Pizza Hut was a sponsor for the NES version of the game. I don't believe that was the arcade game. Pizza Hut is everywhere in this game. Anyhow, so I got this game for my birthday, and I just want to set the scene. So I had a 19-inch television that sat on a shelf. It was a built-in shelf. The shelf was built into the wall. The shelf was about 6 feet tall, I'm remembering. And the Nintendo was sitting right next to the television on this shelf, and I sat in an old school desk with my NES Advantage on the desk portion of the desk. And that's how I played most of my video games, was with that NES Advantage on the desk, looking up at my television sitting about 6 feet off the ground. So one of my friends gave me a call. I was sitting there playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this game right here, with my brother. And my friend calls. My mom says, "Kevin, telephone." So I said, "Okay, I'm coming." And I got it from the desk, and I went in front of the desk, and my foot caught the cable going from the NES Advantage to the Nintendo, and it pulled the Nintendo off the shelf. And when the Nintendo reached the end of the cord that was attaching it to the television, the weight brought the television off the shelf as well. And both my Nintendo and my television came crashing down from about 6 feet off the ground, to my horror and shock. I was just, completely horrified. But I ran into the other room, picked up the phone, and my friend's like, "Did you get it? Did you get it?" And I said, I got it, but I don't know if we can play it. I think I just messed up my TV." And he was like, "Oh, well, if the TV still works, I'll come over and play it. If not, oh well." And I was like, "Okay, I'll see if it works." So I hung up the phone. I ran back into the bedroom, and the little red light on the Nintendo was still on. I remember that really, really well because I was really worried that the Nintendo would be broken. I mean, we had other televisions in the house, but if the Nintendo was broken, so was my birthday. But the little red light was on, which was a beacon of hope, but the game had been popped out. And then I popped the game back in, turned the Nintendo back on. The television, on the other hand, was dead. It never turned back on after that day, and I was pretty upset. My mom was cool, and she let me go into the other room where we had another television, which was actually a 25-inch television. I can't kill these guys. Why don't these guys die? I'm talking to y'all, and I'm not concentrating. But she let me go into the other room and plug the Nintendo in, and I was able to play Turtles for the rest of my birthday, which was amazing. So thanks, Mom. Anyway, so this version of the game is good. You know, it's obviously not great. One of the weird things that they did to the controls that I don't think I really like is this primary attack is much weaker on the Nintendo version than in the arcade. In the arcade, you could just wail away on that attack button and take out multiple enemies, but on this version of the game, you'll hit an enemy one time, and then that enemy sort of becomes invincible for a few seconds. And they come after you, and they'll hit you. So anyway, like this, you can't hit them right after you hit them with that first attack. So the transitions from stages pretty much left intact for this version of the game, and yeah, Rocksteady is only one. I guess he's just 2 colors, but for an NES sprite, pretty impressive if you ask me. And this is, I've since played a lot of the arcade game, and I can say definitively that the bosses in this version of the game are way more challenging than they are in the arcade version. I don't think when you hit them, they don't get stunned very long on the NES game, whereas in the arcade, they are stunned a little bit longer. And regular attacks also, I think, do more damage. Now, as far as I know, unless you acquire the ROM set and play this on MAME, this is still sort of your best bet to play this at home. I know that they did I'm really struggling with this boss. I know they did a port of the arcade game for Xbox Live and for PS4, but they had to take it, or at least for Xbox Live. I don't know if they did it for PS4. But they took it off. They took it off the Xbox Live Arcade, and I don't know why. I imagine it had probably licensing issues with Konami. I am not doing well at all. I'm dying at Rocksteady. This is ridiculous. He's almost dead. He's almost dead. Come on, guy. You've got to die. There we go. Okay, so. And in comes Shredder and grabs April O'Neil and jumps out the window very slowly. Freeze frame. So anyway, the arcade version of the game was put on Xbox Live Arcade, but then pulled. I imagine it's because Konami maybe no longer has the Turtles license or something. That's the only thing that I could figure. And Konami was the company that made this game. So, as far as I know, like I said, I think this is the best way to play this at home, which is alright. You know, you can't play 4 players. That's the thing that really kind of stinks. They took out 4 players, and they limited the number of sprites. So even though it's a pretty accurate representation, to a degree, you can pretty easily pick out the limitations. So there are no voices in the game. The graphics did take a hit. You can't play 4 players. The Turtles pretty much play the same. So, but what did they do for this version of the game that makes it better? So they lengthened the levels. I'm not sure if that actually made it better or not, because I know once you get to about level 3 or level 4, it starts to get a little samey, and you're kind of like, I think I'm done. But for those first 3 or 4 levels, it's really a lot of fun, especially if you're playing 2 players. And I think when you're playing 2 players, they might throw 4 enemies out on the screen at one time. I don't remember. But obviously, when you're playing 1 player, they throw 3 enemies at a time. So they had lots of little things in the game that I think made it really interesting, like this person skating by, and you could swing your... Oh, this is the next part, sorry. We want to save the pizza till we're low on health. There's a person that rides by on a skateboard, and you can swing at them, and they will... It's a girl, and she screams. Which is not very nice. I mean, you see somebody skating by on a skateboard, you don't typically want to try to hurt them. But so moments like that really kind of what made it sort of stand out. And this is my last life. I didn't realize that I'm doing so poorly. And also, these sections where you sort of scroll down, I think was really, really sort of novel at the time. I mean, most brawlers at the time really were just, you'd walk left and you'd walk right. Occasionally, like, you'd get on an elevator or something, but you didn't really ever walk down. I mean, this walking down, sort of this isometric view, I can't recall a game doing it prior to this game, to be honest. There were more Pizza Hut signs. I wonder how much Pizza Hut paid to be in this game. Or if they, I mean, I guess they could have been, I wonder if it was their idea. I don't know, could have been. But anyway, as you can tell, the gameplay hasn't changed a lot since I started playing. It was pretty much the same thing. So you also, and you know, I talked about the regular attack a minute ago. You also have the special attack, which one hit kills all the enemies. And you basically just hit the jump button, and then immediately after that, hit the attack button. The jump and your jump kick. Those are all the attacks. And that's enough. That's really enough. I mean, it definitely makes... It's more limited than the arcade. The arcade game had a few more attacks. It had a few different variations of the jump attack. The special attack, that jumping attack that I'm doing right now was pretty much the same, but and you could rely on the standard attack a little bit more than you can in this game. So I want to say, I think I'm remembering that this jump kick strategy was usually the best one for these bosses. It's been a little while since I've played this. Oh no! Oh no! I don't think this is gonna end well. This is my last life. This is my last life, and I'm at the second level, and I'm about to get killed by Bebop. Who is also, I've just noticed that he's also only 2 colors. Rocksteady was only 2 colors, and I'm dead. Game over. So, that's the first 2 levels of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They definitely made the game more challenging, and you can see that I have 3 continues. I'm actually not going to continue at this point. I'm going to end this video, and just... This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was a pretty decent port of a fantastic arcade game, and I think it's worth playing. If you've got kids or people, you hang out with people who like the Turtles, it's still worth picking up. It's still worth pulling out and popping into the old NES and giving it a playthrough. It gets a little long and a little repetitive about 4 levels in, but it's still a whole lot of fun, and I definitely think you should check it out if you haven't checked it out. Anyway, my name is Kevin Andrew, and until next time, talk to you later.